Well, it's really special to see you all together. This is a treat. Welcome back. I hope you've had a good introduction. You've been in your schools. You know where your classrooms are. All we need now is kids, right? They are on their way. I have to show you a very special picture. This is Kinley. She will now cite the Gettysburg Address. You know, in this district, it is today and it always has been about the kids. And those of us who've been privileged to serve here over the years understand that so well. If you're an intern in the audience today, would you please stand? A University of Arkansas intern? These guys are special. I want you to enjoy your year, and then I want you to come by and see me, okay? If you're a new teacher in the district, would you please stand? Best of the best, and we're glad to have each of you, that's for sure. If you are a member of the Sonora Middle School staff, would you please stand? These guys are so special and patient, I might add. We're trying to open a 134,000 square foot middle school. Normally it would take about 16, 17 months at a minimum to build, but we're doing it in 11. So we've got some work to do, and they understand that and what troopers they are. Dr. Lyons, are you with the group? Where are you? Dr. Shauna Lyons? Stand, please. Y'all welcome our new principal. Dr. Shauna Lyons is our new principal at Sonora Middle School, and what a great job she's doing. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Tamika Brown, our new principal at Central Junior High. Dr. Brown, where are you? We are so very proud to have you. Mr. Paul Grief, our new principal at the ALE. Paul, where are you? Thank you, Paul, for all you do. We appreciate everything that's happened there. If you're a new teacher in the ALE, would you please stand? Welcome this group, if you would. We've had 600 pre-K kids for a long time. On the other end of the continuum, we hope to move from 300 to 400 to 500 to 600 ALE kids in the next year or so. We're looking forward to your great work. Just a little bit of information. I think in the next year or so, we will have a new community college in Springdale. And I've had the opportunity to visit with a lot of the staff at community college in Rogers, and they want to come here. How many of you have thought about or talked about the K-14 model? Would you raise your hand? Anybody thought about that? The idea of young people preparing here, going on to the taking the next step, the community college is a major piece of that, and I think we'll have a great opportunity together to define that plan. Education in the school system is a dynamic process, as you all know. There's about 1,500 people in the audience today, and every one of us committed to help our children learn at the highest level. And I thank you for that. I want to say thank you to our school board. I've had an opportunity to recognize them in our morning session. School board members, please stand and let us thank you. Would you do that? Please recognize our board, ladies and gentlemen. This morning, I've tried to give sunset to the opening of the school year, just as yesterday. And my whole intent of that was to get us thinking together about how to plan and prepare for school. The talk of the school. This is a new day. It's a new day. There's a new accountability system in place that we all have to respond to. We need to continue to grow and improve student performance. For a long time, we've talked about teach them all. If we intend together as a team to teach them all, then it will take all of us to do that. Not 90% of us, but 100% of us. So as we think about starting the new year, my point yesterday, again today, was to encourage you to be thoughtful about how to begin the talk of school. We need to remember where we've been. We've had a wonderful tradition, a great legacy, if you will. Each of you who've been a part of that and who've contributed to it. So we've grown together. We've developed our understanding together about how to better serve all kids. But in this work, as you well know, there's always more to do. That's the nature of the work. And frankly, I think that's what fascinates a lot of us who have given our lives to this kind of work. So, talk of the school. Teach them all. A few years ago, we began to realize that the Teaching Act is central to student achievement, but the Teaching Act has to influence the way children learn. So we brought a new mantra on, learning for all. And then in the last few years, we've come back to realize we need moms and dads, grandparents. We've always known that. We've done it in a fashion. But how can we extend it and do it at a deeper level this year? That's all in front of us. And so the third flag, if you will, learning together. A lot of that was centered in our family literacy program, which started with 3 schools, and this year will be in about 12. And hopefully, if we together commit ourselves to it, we will figure out ways to get this program in each of our schools. The number is climbing. Rick talked about 27, 28, our new middle school coming on, and next year the new junior high. 29 schools. The number of young people that we will serve, we'll see a variety of reports. The paper will never talk about, in terms of the enrollment numbers, the pre-K. But as I told the group this morning, we concluded last year with about 20,200 kids. That included our pre-K. And we'll grow another 600 or so kids this year. So we will be approaching 21,000 kids. That's a lot of young people, as we all know. So, it's real important to kind of understand this continuum that we're on. And you will help me understand it, and we'll come to understand it together. I think it's real important that we examine our prior learning. And so I've made it a real point with our principals as we kind of come back together to get ready for today and Monday and the days that follow, to try to review all the learnings that have brought us to this point. I think that's real important. Now, I understand full well that we can't stay there. We'll have to continue to extend our learning. Today's program is a learning opportunity for us. There'll be entertainment and fun and enjoyment, but it's a learning opportunity. We will have really some of the most distinguished presenters that we can hope to have in our school system talking with you about the new Common Core. We know a little bit about it. We've got a lot more to learn about it. And from my perspective, I know that's very true. If you agree that we probably have a lot to learn about the Common Core, raise your hand. Sure. That's what we do. We're learners. We're not today, nor have we ever been, finished practitioners. We don't have it all figured out. But together, we will learn more and more and more, and we'll take our school system forward. Now, as I talked to the principals, I said to them, it's my intent as we have our back-to-school meetings, for me, not to give you one thing new. That was not my thought process. There are others who will be much more capable of doing that than myself. But here's the central core of where I was coming from. It's like all things in life. We have a learning experience. We deal with it in a teaching situation. We take what we've learned, we implement it the best we can, and we come back to it over and over again, and over time we get more and more sophisticated. What I want to impress upon us is that before we walk in depth into the new Common Core arena, we need to make sure we've got our heads screwed on real straight, in my opinion, about our prior learning. We can do better than we've done. We've done a lot of great things, but our goal is to continuously improve. So, it is my intent, and I make this commitment to my board and to each of you, but very importantly to the children of this district, I fully intend to do a better job this year than I've ever done. And I want to invite you to join me. Will you do that? Raise your hand if you'll do that with me. We'll do it together. That's what we do. That's who we are. Okay. As I go through a brief list of what I think are some of the essential things that we have brought forward together. This team has done that. I want you to kind of put it in your mind, if you will, and then as you return to school in the morning and over the weekend and in the days ahead, I would hope that this could be the basis for your school talk. Probably the best thing we'd ever do, if we get to the maturity level of really a model school, and we're all striving for that every day, is to make student performance, how students are interacting in school, how they're achieving in school, the heart of our school talk. And so I encourage you to do that. Let's look at some things very quickly together. $21,000 kids from every imaginable background. How are the children? How are the children in your school? Very importantly, how are the children in your classroom? We'll do what we can from the district level, but I'm very aware of the most meaningful work that goes on in this district is at the building level and more specifically in your classroom. You're the specialist, and I view you as that. Not sophisticated questions weren't intended to be. So make your own list so that you can engage in conversation about your kids, so you can interact with your staff about developing an instructional delivery system that works not for some kids, but for all kids. Start with the data. There are all sorts of things that get into this whole child conversation. We understand we serve children in poverty, and a lot of them, probably about 14,000 kids. We've got to be students of that process. These children have specific needs, and you know what they are. And if you don't know, the person next door or across the hall or in your professional development team certainly does. Again, some important questions. And if you think this would help you, your principal will have a copy of it already. But again, the important questions will be those that you generate, one to the other. This is where we've been. And I think it's the foundation that we will stand on as we go forward. When you're dealing with a change initiative like implementing the new Common Core, there's a world of unknown out there. We've acknowledged that from our own perspective. There's all sorts of opportunity to get lost along the way. We can't afford to get lost. So knowing the foundation that we stand on, again, in my opinion, will help us a lot. Those questions, those three questions that have been in front of us forever, I hope you'll write them down and be very mindful of that from day one. You need to know who's prepared to go forward at a proficiency level that you're required to teach. With anything we do, if it's a lesson, if it's a new program, whatever, we plan the program, we implement it, we check for results, we reflect on it, and we start again. We've known this plan for a long, long time. If you were a leader in the total instructional alignment process that went on in this school district 3 or 4 years ago, raise your hand. Let me see you. I hope I see a lot of teachers. Thank you very much. That total instructional alignment document needs to be available to each of you. The point simply is we need a quality curriculum in every course offered. It needs to be aligned. It needs to be paced. It needs to make sense. And then you touch it with your art and your skill. And those of us that can will help you along the way. The formative assessment piece we talked about a little bit this morning, really important. Taking tests in April over a body of work that you've done now since August is not the answer. So we need snapshots. You will develop formative assessments, or we'll have the maps or other pieces of assessment information that will help you. But look, you've got to look at it and use it and adjust the instruction accordingly. That's where we've been. One of the great maturity features that I think is so characteristic in this district, so central to this district, I've never seen a one of you, not a single one, back up from the student achievement data. We understand these are our kids. We understand many of them have enormous needs. But we also understand it's our work that's on display. Yours, mine, all of us. It's our team's work. So, we all want our kids to do the very best that they can. We've got to continue to build capacity. You've told us in the last year that you need a lot of professional development in your core content area. You can help guide that. Develop your essential questions. Share them with your principal. Let that come forward so that we can give you the help that you needed. We took about a 3-year period of time, and we focused on the gradual release model, first because we thought it was good for all kids, but since we had such a large concentration of English language learners, we knew that we all had to grow in that. So that's been our district focus for a while. But we understand now we've got to come back and look at your needs, and you help us define what professional development will look like in the future. The foundation pieces that this district stands on have always been student achievement, safety. We've kind of redefined that diversity piece and probably taken it to a much higher level. Personalization of teaching and learning. Every child, no matter what their background, I think is a better definition of 3. And then number 4, the partnership piece. I know you appreciated and enjoyed what our chamber's done for us the last couple of days. Let's give them a hand again. Hope some of them's here. This community is behind each of you, and I hope you understand that and sensed it because it's there over and over again. A few days ago, we had our Partners in Education luncheon. We had 150 community partners represented in that meeting. And then those 150 partners are out there behind each of you. If you have needs, that's great. So share it and let those partners come and help us with that, because that's what they want to do. Mr. Steckline, as he spoke to you this morning, this is a new initiative. The Springdale Education Foundation, launching its 2nd year now. I want to thank each of you who looked at that, studied it, helped make it a priority. That will only grow and help us get better, and it will build a partnership to support each of you here today. That's kind of, in my view, that United Way approach. Each of us can give a little so that hopefully the entire group would benefit. and you will benefit, and our kids will benefit. So take a good look at that, if you will. I just put this up there, and I'll almost take you to the last sentence very quickly. It says, I'm convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with each of us. We're in charge of our attitudes. The Springdale High School band used to have their T-shirt, big words across the back, attitude is everything, all the time. And that's stayed with me over and over again, and on most days, that is really a help to me. But we're in a changing environment. You know that. You're being introduced to the new state accountability model. We all have to be learners about it. But just keep in mind that the focus of our work, as it's going to be laid out publicly, is going to be to close the achievement gap between those kids who are really doing well in school and those who may be struggling learners. So, again, talk of the school. How can you use your skills, your background, your teaming to move this thing forward? I really encourage you to we're renewing. We're in a process of starting again here today. I want you to think about expectations and the power of expectations. What we expect of our kids is normally what we get from our kids. So let's be thoughtful about it and again realize the power that you have to do that. We know we've got to do school in a different way. We know that we have to connect with the kids without question. The student engagement work that you've done here over the last couple of years, especially, we've always been focused on student engagement, but I think we've kind of renewed ourselves, refocused on that, and our kids have been the beneficiaries of that. So just think about that as you plan to stand in front of your kids in the next few days. We understand what we're doing. We understand the process. I talked to the elementary teachers this morning, and I reminded them that when the kids this past year walked across the stage, 1,100 plus of them and graduated, and earned $19,800,000 in scholarships, that everybody in this room contributed to that. The pre-K teachers, the kindergarten teachers, right through high school. That's what teams do. Great teams produce results. And when we decide to focus on each and every one of them, we'll see that number even soar further, and all kids will be better served. So just be thoughtful about that. This is important work. There is no finer profession than what we give ourselves to every day. Giving wings to children's dreams. That's what you do. And then there's a great payoff for each of us, without question. Just to spend time with these young people and share a part of their lives and to know that we've made a difference, that's enormous. Very quickly, these are the pillars that I've tried to address already. If you want to add others to it and process it, get your teams together, redefine those, let's talk about it. We just need to get to the highest level we can get to. School's a purposeful place. We need to come prepared every day to do our best work. Personalization of teaching and learning. We realize we have the opportunity to define that ourselves. All means all. That's all it means. Real important questions that came from you. Who's not learning? Well, why not? What are we going to do about it? Again, foundation work. This is what this team has brought forward over the years. That's what a Springdale School District teacher said to me. I've never lost that sentiment. You've got 21,000 kids close to it. They've got to know that you believe in them. They're going to need some help. They're going to need some encouragement. it will be a daunting task. A lot of them will wilt away unless we say, you can do this. I will help you. That's who you are, in my opinion. And I say it in every venue that I have an opportunity to speak in. Team is a real big deal. You cannot stand out there by yourself. You cannot, in the confusion of the moment or in the emotion of the moment, say, no, I'm not doing that. That's not who we are. We figure out how to do it together. If you see that, you've got to put your arm around those folks and say, come on. We're not in this for ourselves, none of us. We're in it for the children we're privileged to serve. Team, collaboration, capacity building. That's what great teams do. I can't say this loudly enough to you. And again, why am I saying it at all? I'm saying it because I want you to be thoughtful about it. I want you to internalize it. I want you to talk with your fellow teachers and those that you work and stand arm in arm with every day. You can write all of the accountability bills you choose to, from the federal level, from the state level. What matters is the accountability levels that you set. It's your work. We want our kids performing at a high level. Our work matters. We need to do it at the highest level we can every day. If we need to regroup and start again, because we will pop it up from time to time. We just do. We're just folks, aren't we? And when we do, we look at the way we did the work, and we talk about it, and we come back and develop a new plan, and we try that, and see if that produces higher results. We do it together, right? The internal accountability is what we set as the norm in terms of what we intend to do in partnership with our kids, their families, and this community. You got to know where they are. Every piece of information that you can gather about your students and your children, try to get your hands on it as soon as you can. And that shouldn't be hard to do. We've come a long way with that. That's the process. That's the art of continuous improvement, in my view. You see very few spikes that last. What you see is continued improvement over time. But we don't need to slide back. Even when the policymakers change the rules, we need to go forward. Not enough can be said about that, as you well know. Those are things that we've learned together. Okay. I told you it was not my intent to say one thing new. I don't think I have. I have said what I've said so that we can do the best work we can humanly do based on our current learning, then knowing that we're going to have to continue to learn from the experts to address the new curricula, the new language arts, the new mathematics, knowing that the new learning has been benchmarked against learnings from around the world, all with the idea that we will grow and we will develop and will be better prepared to lead our kids in the future. Thank you very much for choosing to serve here. I'm very proud of you.